Good evening. The Florida Department of Transportation, Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, welcomes you to the public hearing for Project Development and Environment, or PD&E study, for the widening of Florida's Turnpike Main Line, State Road 91, from north of State Road 60 to south of Clay-Whaley Road in Osceola County. This public hearing is for financial project identification number 423-374-3. I would like to formally open the public hearing. Today is Monday, November 17th, 2025, and the time is 6 o'clock still. My name is Greg Moore, and I am the Turnpike's project manager. I will be moderating this public hearing and supported by representatives from Florida's Turnpike and the consultant project team. We are holding this hearing at the Florida's Turnpike Enterprise headquarters in Ocoee, Florida, and welcome those who are participating virtually or listening through the telephone. As a reminder, those of you who joined virtually by computer or tablet or mobile device will be able to see the presentation and provide verbal comments. Instructions on how to provide written comments will be provided at the end of the presentation. If you do not hear audio during the presentation, check your computer speakers using settings in the control panel. If you experience technical difficulties, please contact technical support at tpk-support@dot.state.fl.us, and please stay online while we work to resolve any issues. There are two primary components to tonight's hearing. First, this presentation, which will explain the project purpose and need, study preferred alternative, potential impacts, and proposed methods to mitigate potential project impacts. And secondly, a formal comment period following this presentation where you will have the opportunity to provide verbal comments and written statements. At this time, we would like to recognize federal, state, county, or city officials who may be joining virtually. We did have one Florida State Senator in District 15, Senator LaVon Bracey Davis, who registered to participate tonight. We thank you for joining and for your participation. We will now begin the presentation.
The Florida Department of Transportation, or FDOT, Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, welcomes you to the public hearing for the Project Development and Environment, or PD&E study, for the widening of Florida's Turnpike Main Line, State Road 91, from north of State Road 60 to south of Clay-Whaley Road in Osceola County. This public hearing is for financial project identification number 423-374-3. This environmental study has been conducted by the enterprise in compliance with all applicable federal environmental laws and pursuant to 23 United States Code, Section 327. The purpose of this public hearing is to share information with the general public about the proposed improvements of the preferred alternative for this PD&E study, its conceptual design, and the potential social, economic, and environmental impacts upon the community. The public hearing also serves as an official forum, providing an opportunity for members of the public to express their opinions regarding the project. This public hearing was advertised consistent with the federal and state requirements shown on the slide. Public notice for this meeting, including information on how to access the meeting platform, was provided in letters to property owners and tenants in the project area, a posting in the Florida Administrative Register, advertisements in local newspapers, and other notification methods. The enterprise complies with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Under Title VI, public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Please contact either of the Title VI coordinators, Desiree Stills or Aldrin Sanders, at the address or phone number shown here to express any concerns regarding the enterprise's compliance with Title VI. This public hearing provides multiple participation options to provide various opportunities for the public to receive information and share input. The information presented during tonight's virtual hearing will also be shared at the in-person meetings scheduled for November 18th at the St. Cloud Civic Center, Gym B, located at 3001 17th Street, St. Cloud, Florida, 34769, and November 20th at the Intergenerational Recreation Center, located at 1590 9th Street Southwest, Vero Beach, Florida, 32962. Verbatim transcripts will be made of all oral proceedings. The public hearing video will be posted on the project website. The following presentation will provide an overview of the project development process, study limits, purpose and need, preferred alternative, environmental effects evaluation, public involvement, schedule, and a formal comment period. This PD&E study is the second phase of FDOT's Transportation Project Development process. Key components of the PD&E study include an evaluation of existing conditions, identification of future traffic needs, development and evaluation of project alternatives, and public and agency involvement. All findings and recommendations are documented at the end of the study. Subsequent phases include final design and engineering, right-of-way acquisition, when needed, and construction. Right-of-way acquisition is not anticipated for this project. The subsequent phases are currently not funded, but will be considered for funding upon the completion of the PD&E study. This PD&E study is located in Osceola County. The project begins north of State Road 60 and continues to south of Whaley Road, from milepost 193.5 to 238.5, a distance of approximately 45 miles. The Turnpike main line within the project area is currently a 4-lane limited access toll facility, with two 12-foot lanes in each direction and a 40-foot median with guardrail. The segment from State Road 60 to just north of the Canoe Creek Service Plaza is primarily rural, transitioning to an urban setting toward the project's endpoint. This section of the main line features the Canoe Creek Service Plaza, passes through the Three Lakes Wildlife Management Area, and serves as a critical evacuation route for Florida. This PD&E study is part of a larger network of improvement projects spanning both north and south of the project limits. Ongoing coordination with adjacent projects has been maintained and will continue throughout the duration of the study. This includes collaboration with the ongoing Turnpike's PD&E study to the south, from north of State Road 70 to north of State Road 60, and coordination with the ongoing FDOT District 5 PD&E study along State Road 60 from Prairie Lake Road to the Florida's Turnpike. Coordination is also taking place with the Nolte Road Interchange and Mainline Widening Design Build team, the Osceola County Canoe Creek Road PD&E study from the urban growth boundary to Deer Run Road, and a separate concept study that will analyze and document the potential location of a future interchange between south of Whaley Road and Osceola County's planned extension of Waterland Boulevard over the Turnpike main line. Additionally, multiple coordination efforts have taken place with the Central Florida Expressway Authority regarding the potential future interchange for the Southport and Northeast Connector PD&E studies. Purpose and need for this study provides the basis for developing, considering, evaluating, and eliminating project alternatives. The purpose and need is to increase capacity, meet existing and future travel demands, update the roadway to current criteria, and improve safety, evacuation, and emergency response. An increase in capacity is needed to accommodate projected traffic volumes. In the rural segment, 3 lanes in each direction will be needed by 2045, and in the urban segment, 4 lanes in each direction will be needed by 2045 to meet traffic demands. The no action or no build alternative does not meet the project's purpose and need. If no improvements are made, an increase in the travel demand could result in more congestion and crashes. Between the years 2019 to 2023, there were 1,280 crashes along the Florida's Turnpike mainline, which resulted in 16 fatalities and 399 injuries within the study limits. A total of 45 crashes were also reported within the vicinity of the Canoe Creek service area. The total crashes estimated economic cost within the study limit was about $284 million between the years 2019 to 2023. Solutions to address the project needs were developed and evaluated in coordination with community, stakeholder, and local agency feedback, resulting in proposed improvements to the Florida's Turnpike corridor and additional structural and drainage improvements. We'll begin by presenting the preferred alternative along the rural segment from north of State Road 60 to north of the Canoe Creek Service Plaza. Next, we will cover the urban segment from north of the Canoe Creek Service Plaza to south of Whaley Road, followed by additional improvements throughout the project limits. The preferred alternative within the rural segment of the main line from north of State Road 60 to north of Canoe Creek Service Plaza will mill and resurface the existing 2 lanes, add a 3rd lane in each direction, and add a new 12-foot shoulder in each direction. The existing guardrail and median will remain the same. All improvements will be within existing right-of-way. The preferred alternative within the urban segment from north of Canoe Creek Service Plaza to south of Whaley Road will reconstruct both directions of the main line to include 4 12-foot lanes in each direction, add a new 12-foot shoulder in each direction, and reconstruct the median to include inside shoulders, a barrier wall separation, and drainage improvements. All improvements will be within existing right-of-way. If no improvements are made, Turnpike Mainline will become heavily congested in both directions, leading to slower travel and a higher potential for crashes. The proposed build alternative will ease congestion, shorten travel times on the Turnpike Mainline, and improve overall traffic flow and safety. The build alternative is expected to reduce crashes with an estimated economic crash cost savings of $61.1 million for the project lifecycle based on 2022 present value. All bridges within the project limits were originally built in 1963. The preferred alternative proposes the replacement of the overpass bridges and the widening or replacement of the mainline bridges within the project limits. Like the existing bridges, the culverts were originally constructed in 1963. Vehicular and cattle crossing culverts are proposed to be lengthened, and one is recommended to be removed, since it no longer serves its original rural intent as a cattle crossing. Additionally, bridge and box culverts within the project limits are recommended for lengthening or replacement as needed. This PD&E study evaluated the potential impacts and benefits to the natural, cultural, social, and physical environments associated with the preferred alternative. Avoidance and minimization of impacts to these features was a key consideration. The proposed project will impact wetlands and other surface waters. Direct impacts from the preferred alternative are anticipated to be approximately 11 acres of historical forested wetlands and approximately 1 acre of historical herbaceous wetlands. It is anticipated that permits will be obtained from the South Florida Water Management District, St. Johns River Water Management District, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers during the design and permitting phase of the project. After examination of species records and available habitats in the project area, it is anticipated that the project may affect, but not likely to adversely affect, federally listed species, and there are no adverse effects anticipated to state-listed species. The Three Lakes Wildlife Management Area occurs on both sides of Florida's Turnpike Main Line within the rural segment, but there will be no impacts to this conservation area. As part of the PD&E study, a wildlife crossing evaluation was performed. It was determined that wildlife crossing improvements are recommended to be further evaluated during the design phase as it improves safety for motorists and provides a safe passage for species. The wildlife crossing opportunities include wildlife fencing, replacing farm access culverts with bridges, box culvert enhancements, a new box culvert, and maintaining other existing structures. In addition, 26 existing bridges and culverts can also serve as secondary wildlife crossing areas. Cultural Resources Assessment Survey was conducted for this PD&E study to identify any cultural resources and assess their eligibility for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. No archaeological sites were identified. 4 historical resources were identified. 1 was determined eligible for listing on the National Register, and 2 are assumed to be National Register eligible. The proposed improvements will have no adverse effect on these resources, and no significant impacts are anticipated as a result of this project. This project does not anticipate any right-of-way acquisitions or relocations of families or businesses. The anticipated impacts to social, economic, land use, mobility, and aesthetic issues within the study area are expected to be either minimal or beneficial to the surrounding communities. The result of the contamination screening evaluation identified 3 medium-risk sites and 13 low-risk sites. These sites will be further evaluated during the design phase to identify options to avoid, minimize, or mitigate contamination. No significant impacts to air quality are anticipated. The results of the noise study report concluded that noise walls are a feasible and reasonable method to abate traffic-related noise impacts for 2 noise-sensitive areas. On the east side of the Turnpike Main Line, from Friars Cove Road to the WPA Canal, and on the west side of the Turnpike Main Line, from the WPA Canal to south of Clay Whaley Road. Noise walls will be re-evaluated during the design phase. The total project cost for the preferred build alternative is estimated at approximately $2.73 billion in present-day costs. All project-related costs are included in this total estimate. Right-of-way acquisition is not anticipated for this project. The design and construction phases are currently not funded, but will be considered for funding upon the completion of the PD&E study. This alternatives comparison matrix compares the preferred build alternative to the no-action alternative. The preferred build alternative addresses the purpose and need of the study and does not have right-of-way impacts. Regarding the natural, cultural, and physical environmental effects, the preferred build alternative has impacts to wetlands and other surface waters, low impacts to protected species and habitat, impacts to potential contamination sites, and impacts to 2 potential noise-sensitive areas. Serving communities is at the core of all we do. During the development of this project, the enterprise has engaged adjacent communities and stakeholders in the project's decision-making process. The Florida Department of Transportation works with the public to balance their community vision with the community's transportation needs. This is routine on all our projects to ensure Florida's infrastructure is safe, resilient, and efficient for many years into the future. Outreach efforts have included a public kickoff newsletter, 1 virtual and 2 in-person alternative public information meetings, and various meetings with state and local agencies. Community outreach will continue through the completion of the PD&E study and future project phases. We encourage you to visit the project website, www.turnpikesr60 to cwr.com, at your convenience to view detailed exhibits of the proposed improvements. Your input is essential to the PD&E study process. We welcome your comments that will help us make this important decision. You may provide your comments in several ways. Virtual attendees can type their comments in the questions box or request to make a verbal statement, you will be called upon and be unmuted in order to provide your comment. In-person attendees will be able to complete a speaker card to make a statement at the microphone during the public comment period, provide a statement to the court reporter, or submit your written comments using the comment forms provided. All attendees, including those online, can submit written comments through the project website and email or mail written comments to the project manager, Greg Moore. Please note that all methods are considered equally. While comments and questions are welcome at any time, the public comment period for this public hearing will remain open through December 4th, 2025 to accommodate the public who view the hearing video after tonight. All comments submitted to the enterprise by December 4th, 2025 will be included in the public record for this hearing. After tonight's hearing, the next step is to incorporate your input on this public hearing into our decision-making process. After the comment period closes and your input has been considered, a decision will be made, and the final PD&E document will be approved. This project has and will continue to comply with all applicable state and federal rules and regulations. The PD&E study is expected to be completed by the first quarter of 2026. Note that the schedule is subject to change. Thank you for your interest in the PD&E study to widen Florida's Turnpike from north of State Road 60 to south of Clay Whaley Road, and for taking the time to participate in tonight's public hearing. The formal comment period will now begin.
Thank you. We hope you found that project presentation informative and helpful. It is now 6:23, and we will begin the formal comment period. Please note that we will not respond to your comments or questions today, but will respond in writing at a later date. We will first call upon attendees who requested to speak at registration, followed by an opportunity for anyone else who wishes to speak. For attendees who wish to speak, please use the raise hand button located in the upper left corner of the control panel to let us know. That will indicate that you wish to speak. When I call your name, you will be unmuted and you should be ready to speak when you see the green microphone. If your microphone is still red, you can click it and it should turn green. We ask that you please state your full name and address to be included as part of the official record. If you represent an organization or community group, please indicate that as well. To ensure that everybody has an opportunity to share their input, we kindly ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. A countdown clock has been added to the slide to help keep track of time. Attendees may also provide written comments through the question box. However, these will not be addressed during the hearing, but will be part of the public hearing transcript. We will now call upon our first speaker. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and state your name and address, followed by your comment or question. Do we have any raised hands? We're looking for this now. If anybody wishes to make a comment, go ahead and hit the raise hand button and we'll be looking for you. Okay, we'll give that another minute or so. I just wanted to make a comment that if you do intend to join us in person tomorrow evening, it will be in the St. Cloud Community Center, which is almost the same location that we were at last time and back in March during the alternatives public meeting. But it is in the building next door because there's some renovations going on at the Civic Center. So we're in Gym B. So if you joined us last time, it will be same site, different building, and we will have signing out, and so you will see that. Just a note, if you plan to join us tomorrow, we'd love to have your participation. The doors will open at 5:30, and this presentation, the looping video, or the video that you just heard, will be replayed at 6 p.m., followed by another public comment period. Do we have anyone that wishes to make a comment tonight? Okay. All right, well, with that, we might hold on here another minute or so, and then we'll close things out. So I'm gonna hang out and make sure everybody has an opportunity. If you're having technical difficulties, we will also check to see if anyone's reached out to Turnpike meeting support. You can also type a question into the chat if you would prefer not to speak. If you type a question into the chat, we can. All the participants can see that, and if I can see it, I might read it, but we can use that method if you like. Okay. Do we have any evidence of anybody typing anything? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your participation. We will go ahead and close things out on this end. After tonight's public hearing, written comments can be submitted by visiting the project website as shown here on the screen, www.turnpikesr60 to cwr.com, or by scanning the QR code displayed on the screen and clicking on the comment form on the project website landing page. You can also contact me directly at greg.moore, M-O-O-R-E, @dot.state.fl.us, or by mail at the Turnpike headquarters address shown here. All written material received at this public hearing and received by December 4th, 2025 will become part of the public record for this hearing. The verbatim transcript of tonight's oral proceedings, together with all written material received as part of the hearing record, and all studies, displays, and informational material provided at the hearing will be made part of the project decision-making process and will be available on the project website. We will also have documents at Turnpike Enterprise headquarters for review, public review upon request. And I'm getting an indication that we may have a comment, and that's fine. We'll go ahead and unmute you if you could state your name and address for the record and go ahead and provide your comment. And do we have a name? Jason? Jason, you're ready to speak if you'd like to unmute.
Thanks for having me here. My name is Jason Montan. I reside at 3773 Branding Iron Bend in St. Cloud. My question is, south of the Turnpike, are there any, I know they said widening and it was, I forget what the verbiage is, it was going to stay within the limits of the current setup. Are they planning on cutting back more of the trees? Because I happen to live on what they call a nature walk, so I'm just wondering if it's going to impact that at all. And it's going to be widened similar to what they were doing north of Clay Whitley, because it would be pretty much in my backyard almost, and impeding on the nature walk that they have back there, the wetlands.
Thank you for that comment, Jason. We will collect your contact information and respond in writing as we indicated earlier. We appreciate your participation tonight.
Thanks. And you might start getting comments because it was closed earlier. The function was just opened up a minute ago. Okay,
understand. So we do have two other folks that have requested to speak, so we'll go ahead with the next person has typed in a question. Okay.
Katerina. Does the area south of Clay Whitley, the east side, is being considered for sound wall? Thank you.
Okay, the comment that you see in the chat is related to a question on whether or not there is a sound wall. We appreciate you providing that comment. I will also mention that the project displays that will be available tomorrow night that were referenced throughout this presentation will be posted to the project website and should actually be accessible at this time. If you're unable to access those, just give it another day or two. We do upload this video from the virtual hearing. For those that may not have been able to join us tonight, they can watch that via YouTube, and we'll post that link when it's available once the post-processing is done with that video. So thank you for that comment. We have one other written comment. We have a raised hand. A raised hand, okay. Okay, Jeff Cowart, if you'd like to go ahead and unmute, we'll hear your comment. And if you could, please state your address also for the record.
Yes, Jeff Cowart, 901 Lake Marion Road. You had mentioned in the meeting that the bridges that fly over the turnpike would be lengthened or widened. How does that not adversely affect people's properties who touch those areas?
Thank you for that comment, Jeff. We appreciate that, and we will respond, get your contact information, and respond to that. Anyone else that would like to speak tonight? No more in the chat? Okay. It's our understanding that the comment period earlier may have been difficult to access, but I think given that we had a few participating, hopefully those that wanted to speak have had the opportunity. So we do appreciate that. We thank you for attending this public hearing and for providing your input into this project. It is now 6:32 p.m. and I hereby officially close the public hearing for the PD&E study for the widening of Florida's Turnpike Main Line, State Road 91, from north of State Road 60 to south of Clay Whaley Road. Thank you again and have a good evening.